Here's what happened. I had an opportunity to go to an event. It was a speaking event that a mentor that I really looked up to was putting on. The cost for this was like $15,000, which I did not have at the time. But like I thought, okay, this is going to be the opportunity that's going to help me to propel my speaking career forward. It's going to change my life. I'm going to be completely able to move towards my dreams and my visions so much faster than I ever thought was possible. And by not going to this, none of those other things are going to be able to work out, is that thought process. And there, at the time, the cost was like way too much. There was no way I would be able to put like $15,000 and do this thing. But then, like a few days right before the event was going to happen, he put out a message saying that they were going to do a scholarship for one person to come in, and they were going to waive the cost, which I thought was like, oh man, this is such an important opportunity. Like I have to do it. I could feel like tension in my body and like that urgency of like, okay, I got to fill this application out and get it done. So I went through that process, filled out the application. I was feeling pretty confident going into it. I'm like, okay, I got this. Like I wrote it out really well. I'm talking about, my mission of burnout and wanting to make it extinct, and the passion I have for this, the excitement I have to be able to make this happen, and how important this opportunity would be for me. And I sent it and waited, and then I didn't get a response back. And then the event happened. And then I realized I missed my opportunity. This is Make Burnout Extinct. I'm Robert David Weeks. Before getting into it today, I want to say thank you for listening to this episode. And if you haven't done it yet, please subscribe and follow this show for the latest episodes. My commitment to you by you doing that is to make this the best show it can be the best storyteller I can be for you, the best researcher, and the best interview for the guests that are coming on to share their insights. So thank you for being a part of this movement. Realizing after that I missed that opportunity, I went down those thoughts of what this meant for me personally. Like I took it so personally, which we can do that for a lot of these missed opportunities that come up in our life, where all of a sudden it has a meaning on us, of us being a failure, or us feeling unworthy of any other opportunities moving forward, or feeling like the world's going to come to an end, or that we're not going to be able to survive this thing, like all of those thoughts that come up. So the problem that I want to get into today, because I felt those and I've had other opportunities where that's happened, is this problem of staying stuck with unnecessary suffering for way longer than you need to after missing an opportunity. Because if you look back on your life right now, have there been opportunities that you've experienced? Just taking a little bit of time to think about that. Opportunities that you got really excited about to go and be able to experience. If that was like a cool trip, or all of a sudden you're able to go to this concert that you really wanted to go to, or all of a sudden you had an opportunity to elevate your career, and so you took that project on to make that happen. Like thinking back, there could be one or two that come up for you. And are there other missed opportunities in your past? If you were to actually look back on your journey to get to where you are today, have there been other missed opportunities? And my guess is that there are more of those missed opportunities that you've experienced than the more missed opportunities than the opportunities that you have experienced, which is a sign to help you to realize moving forward that there are going to be more missed opportunities in your life. It's inevitable as you continue to move towards who it is you want to become, to stay consistent with your better habits, to make burnout extinct. There will be missed opportunities. So if you can remember that it's going to be something that just happens, that can allow you to prepare for when these missed opportunities come your way. Because through those missed opportunities, the opportunities that you'll be able to take and experience in your life will then be able to happen. It becomes a numbers game where eventually you're going to have an opportunity where you're going to be able to take advantage of it, and it's going to be able to have an impact on your life. So last week, thinking about this for when this is going out at the beginning of the week here, last week, you probably had missed opportunities that came up. Just thinking back to specifically last week, it could be you sent the wrong email to that person. You're like, oh shit, I can't believe I just did that. Oh, and you haven't gotten a response back. You may have said the wrong thing to your partner during the chaos of Thanksgiving, right? Like that could have come up. Or you could have been missing like a workout that you wanted to get in for the week, and you didn't get your ideal amount of workouts that you'd wanted. So those are all missed opportunities. Yeah, they could be small ones, but you got to remember that there's a difference between the small ones and the big ones, right? So there's these big ones that we can think of, and that might have caused you to be like, okay, I want to focus in on these missed opportunities, which could be the missed opportunity to lead by example for your team at work, the missed opportunity of not planning that trip with your partner or your friends because they've been asking, or your partner's been really asking to get a trip to be able to take vacation with you so they can spend quality time and to build on your relationship. But you've just been like, oh, we'll get to it. And then never happens. Or you forgot the birthday of someone important in your life and you just missed it. And you had that opportunity, but all of a sudden now you're feeling all that guilt and that shame that came up. So those are some of those feelings, as well as feeling in the dumps, like feeling frustrated and feel like you'll explode with the pressure inside of you. So it's a moment now to remember to take a breath, right? With all those missed opportunities, taking a deep breath in, acknowledging all those feelings that are coming up for you right now, as I just went through those, because I'm sure there's one or two that are sticking out to you right now for a missed opportunity. Take all that feeling in and then release it out. What's important is to acknowledge the feelings. It was interesting. I asked ChatGPT this question of how do you bounce back after missing an opportunity? And the first thing it said, or one of the first examples was acknowledge your feelings. One of the easiest ways we can move forward in life is to numb out our feelings. But going back to the importance of making burnout extinct, you've got to be able to connect to those feelings in order to recognize when the body is giving you the signals to let you know that you're moving towards hitting burnout. And this is a moment of you thinking back to all those missed opportunities. You're going to have a feeling, a charge that comes up in a certain part of your body. Where is that for your body? Just being able to acknowledge that is a first step. And then as you are breathing in one more time, we'll breathe in one more time and then breathe out. Being able to just release those energies out. And now I want to get into how you can bounce back. So there's two approaches that you can do this. You can do this through the sensations you feel in the body. And then it's the second approach is the ridiculous thoughts that are swirling in your mind, right? And I want to kick it off with this quote from Alex Ramosi to help you out right now for how to bounce back. Now is not forever. Okay? I'm going to repeat that one more time. Now is not forever. There are phases and chapters to life. So the reality that you're in after you miss an opportunity and all those feelings that come up, and then the thoughts and the ridiculous and just out of this world thoughts that you would never say to a best friend, but all of a sudden are coming up for you, remembering that this is not your permanent reality for how you feel right now and the situation you're in, if you choose to move forward and choose to move through it. So that's another thing that has to happen for you is you've got to choose that you are going to move through. And that's a decision we all have to make. And a way that it can help you with the courage to do that is to look back on your past and remember all those missed opportunities and that you were able to move through it. So that's where looking back at your past is actually such a powerful leverage for you to create momentum moving forward, because you've gotten to this point. So you've had to go through a lot of shit to get to this point. And to think that not everyone deals with some shit is another belief to help break for you and put doubt towards, because everyone has dealt with shit. So you're not alone in feeling that. It's just how you then choose to move forward and the changes that you make. So let me get into the body sensations. You could be experiencing, I think of the Sunday scaries, right? Those feelings that could come up after you've gone through this week, you've had missed opportunities. You then could have Sunday scaries for how to move forward into this upcoming week. That's where you can get stuck for the body in this freeze mode, because with these missed opportunities, what comes up for the body is for some examples, it could be you didn't say what you really wanted to say to your partner. You held back. Your body was wanting to do something, but you chose to not do it and not say it. And that creates a mistrust between you and your body, right? That's like a small opportunity of mistrust. It's like, it is, you can think about it as like lying to someone, right? You create that lying and then they recognize that you lie, right? That doesn't feel great for that other person. And so it doesn't feel great for your body, but there's opportunities to make a change and to be able to move through it. So for the Sunday scaries for the body sensations, that is a moment where your body is freezing. And that is where then the unnecessary suffering can stay stuck in your body, and we can spend way too long here, where all of a sudden we're not being able to move towards who it is we want to become, the vision we have for our life. We're just stuck. And that's where people can get caught up in this feeling that this is the permanent reality, which I want to remind you, it's not. So remembering that with the Sunday scaries and then with your body, with it's around almost 40 trillion cells, there are signals that are coming up with this feeling of the Sunday scaries, or these feelings of the shame or the guilt, or you feel that pressure in the body. Like, there are signals here for how you can move forward and prepare for this week. It's being able to listen to what those signals mean. So, for example, you may have this pressure that comes up when you think back to the missed opportunity of you not saying what you wanted to say to your partner during the chaos of Thanksgiving, and you still haven't had the opportunity to have a conversation of either being able to explain what you actually meant or actually really share with them what you wanted to do. So that's an opportunity for reflection of an action that you can take in this upcoming week, is to have that conversation. And in this moment, be able to mark it down for the day that you're going to have the conversation, be able to ask your partner if you can have that conversation, because you want to share with them what happened in the past experience, and being able to create a space where you can have that conversation. Because for the Sunday scaries and this feeling of anxiety that can build for the future, and you're just like, oh, it's just you're not prepared. I mean, that's really what it comes down to, is the body isn't prepared for the upcoming week. And so a way that you get prepared is to ask yourself, what are the actions that you are going to have to take in order to feel more prepared for this week? What information do you not know right now for, let's say, an upcoming project that's going to be important to take some time to do that? And you have these moments throughout the day, hundreds of opportunities of these small moments of downtime to focus on getting prepared for the next day, right? That could be in between when you're doing laundry or having to, clean the kitchen or take out the trash, or being able to play with your dogs or cat, or about to get ready to watch a show. Like, there are these small opportunities throughout the day to feel more prepared for the next day and for this upcoming week. It's whether or not you choose to take advantage of those and implement it. And you can start small. That's another thing to remember with how you bounce back. Start small with this thing, where it could be just for 5 minutes, reflecting on what is one area that for missed opportunity last week that you could change for this upcoming week. And what is that small action that you'll be able to take to start to create momentum? Because it goes back to, this is not your permanent reality, and where you start doesn't have to be where you end up. So just because you start small doesn't mean you're not going to be able to move towards those bigger opportunities of growth. Because it goes back to, when you celebrate these small wins as well and recognize these small wins that you are able to do in the week, that's what leads to the big wins in life. And with a lot of messaging out there, we can get confused thinking it's the big wins that's going to all of a sudden create the big momentum, and then our life's going to be changed forever. And it's amazing to have those moments, but there are these small moments that led up to that. And when you can remember that, it helps to fuel your certainty that you can move through this phase in your life and this feeling of being stuck. The other realization that can come up is remembering that there are going to be many more opportunities ahead for you as you continue to move forward. So if you decide to move forward, that's where the opportunities are going to come up. Because if you look back in your past, as you were moving forward, you had opportunities that came your way. So naturally, that's going to happen then if you just keep moving forward and keep moving through this. But if you stay stuck, then those opportunities aren't going to come your way. It's just not things aren't going to then be able to change in your current environment. And a way that I was reminded of this, of just how many opportunities are out there, was when I went to visit a mentor of mine in person for the first time, JG, who lived in LA. We went to Erewhon's, which I don't know. I don't get the hype for it. I really don't, especially for the overpriced smoothies. But it's a vibe. I got to give credit and respect for that. It is definitely a vibe for that. But is it all the hype that I like see out there? I don't see it. I don't see it. But we went there, and I remembered, sitting down with him, trying to ask more about like life and, about how I could grow in my career and in my life. And I remembered he mentioned something about mentors, like talking to people that, you admire or that you look up to. And this is where you could have had a missed opportunity, where you could have had an opportunity to connect with someone that was playing at a higher level, if that's financially, or if that's in your relationship, or if that is in health and fitness, if that is whatever goal or part of your vision that you have for your life. You had someone that had done it, and you could have connected with them, but you were either hesitated because you were so scared to be able to go up there and just ask them, hey, how's it going? And that happens. I've experienced that before for myself, where I saw someone that was someone I really admired, and I ended up not talking to them because I was like, oh, I don't want to bother them. I don't want to be a burden to what they got going on. And what happened for after that for me, when I would do this, I had go through the mental chatter of just shame and guilt of like, why the hell did I not just go up and say hi, like, and realize that they're just like a normal human being, instead of thinking about them as this like out of this world kind of person. So I remember JG mentioning, hey, when with mentors, think about it as you're going to see this person for every day, for the rest of your life, for 5 minutes. How would you show up in this situation? And that can be really something helpful to remind you of moving through life. If you know that there's going to be another opportunity coming your way each and every day, how do you show up to the opportunities? And how do you recover from the missed opportunities? Well, you recognize that there's going to be a lot of calm, a lot of ease in those moments. You're going to feel way more relaxed in the shoulders. I think the shoulders would drop, and you'd feel relaxed. Now it's in that moment and that feeling where then you have to decide what is the next action that you have to take for this upcoming week to create more of those opportunities. Because what can happen is we can get in that relaxed state and then choose to do nothing about it because we're relaxed, and that can feel great. But what the relaxed feeling can do is actually help fuel your courage to take action and move forward towards a scarier unknown for your life that is going to propel you forward to move towards who it is you want to become and the vision you have for your life. And how you can think about that in another way is like a video game. Like there are going to be levels to this for your life, and you're going to have these moments where the big bosses come in, where it could be those big opportunities where you got to choose how you show up. Do you face the big opportunities, or do you freeze? Do you run away? And what I want to remind you of is to give yourself grace in these moments where you have these bosses that come up, because that's what's going to help you to not hit burnout, is to be able to give yourself grace and forgive yourself for those missed opportunities, because they will come. It's just like a numbers game. You will eventually miss some of these opportunities more than the ones that you do make for opportunities. And what's really important is to not go down those spirals of thoughts, of getting stuck, of beating yourself up internally, of taking it as a deeper meaning of who you are. Like it just happened, right? It doesn't define your value as a human being and your worth as a human being. You're made of stardust. Like, fuck. You were, the odds of you being born are 1 in 400 trillion. Like, you have so much capability there. So there isn't then going to have to be a need to put a deeper meaning into these missed opportunities. And a way to help you move through that is to forgive yourself. And you can forgive yourself by writing it out of what you forgive yourself for, and being able to acknowledge the feelings that come up of that, of being able to forgive yourself. And then from there, being able to release those feelings out. And what that ultimately is for how you can do it is to connect to your body and notice your tension points. Where do you feel tension when you write out what you want to forgive yourself for? And be able to connect. And that's literally could be going through a body scan of just bringing awareness to your body. And especially when you do this with, being out in nature, that could be another great way to reconnect more with your body, to be able to, when you're writing this out, to not have any other distractions around you, so you can really focus in on your body and where you notice those tensions. But then when you can forgive yourself and release that energy out, it opens up space for then opportunity of taking action and to move forward and move through it and continue to figure out where you can grow from the lesson in the mistake. Because ultimately that's what it is. Missing an opportunity, it is a mistake that you experienced, but there's a lesson in the mistakes. And when you can learn the lesson in the mistake, then you can just let go of the mistake and be able to take that lesson forward into the other actions that you're going to be taking. Because I can tell you personally, in my own experience with the missed opportunities, what happens for me is I go down that spiral. And in the past, it would consume me and I would feel like the world was ending and that I wouldn't be able to survive this and that I'm now worthless and I have no value to provide. And I traumatize it. Like I maybe that could be why I really like dramatic movies, but I would make it so dramatic and just ridiculous. And think back to like, what the hell, dude? Like in the past, you've missed opportunities, and then in the future, you're gonna miss opportunities. So what are you doing trying to like make this bigger thing than it has to be? Because it's not gonna serve you. And I think that's what's really important to tell you. It does not serve you to stay stuck and to have unnecessary suffering, because that will just move you to a one-way ticket to burnout and get dragged by that burnout beast because of that stress that builds up. You'll notice it. You notice the stress that builds up, that stress bubble. You notice the anxiety bubble that builds up of what the future is going to look like because you're feeling stuck. And then you're going to have the overwhelm that builds up of feeling like there's no way you can release this energy out because you're just staying stuck. Well, those are all open loops that if you experience that day after day after day after day, that's going to move you towards hitting burnout. And that's something I don't want for you. And it's not necessary in order to get the lesson. The lesson comes up right away, and we can understand that if we bring attention to it. Because I go back to like Tony Robbins, I believe, is who said that where your focus goes, your energy flows. And what I want to help you to do is channel that energy towards moving forward. And to recap it, it's starting small as you move through it, being able to figure out what is the one action or couple of actions that you can take in order to make sure that you've learned the lesson from those missed opportunities last week and then implement for this week to be able to create new opportunities, and then forgive yourself for those missed opportunities and those mistakes. Being able to acknowledge the feelings in your body and the sensations that come up, realize that they're signaling and giving you a lesson that you implement, and then be able to let them go and release them out. And that's having an opportunity to get out in nature, to be able to do that, to write it down for what you could forgive yourself on a piece of paper, to journal your thoughts out, to release it out. That could be really helpful, is to journal, or to literally physically release the energy out. What I really like to do is scream out there, like as if, I scored a touchdown or scored the goal, like that, like lion roar, releasing it out that way, and then shaking my arms helps, just shaking the body out as if you're getting ready for a big game. That's another way to help to release that energy out, or release the pressure, the tension, the overwhelm. And it is an energy release, but also by moving your body, that's also helping you to produce energy for your body to then take that, and with the courage that you've built, to be able to take the action necessary to move through this. And what I want to remind you of is you are absolutely capable of doing this. And I go back to this quote by John Butcher, there is no one right way, but there is a right way for you. And it's going to be important to test some of these things out and notice what is your combo of habits, because that's what it is. Habits of forgiving yourself, that's a habit. The habit of determining what are the actions, 1 or 2 actions that you have to take to move forward in this next week, that is a habit. Understanding the lesson in the mistakes and the missed opportunities is a habit. And acknowledging those feelings is a habit. And so it comes back to these small habits that you can start to implement within your life, and you're capable of this. And if you haven't heard it yet today, I want to tell you, I believe in you. You as a human being, you have so much greatness within you and potential within you, ready to be shared with the world. You got this. If you like this episode, please don't forget to rate this podcast and help get this message out to make burnout extinct. And you can share what resonates with you from this episode by connecting with me on Instagram or LinkedIn. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this episode. I don't take that for granted ever. And I'm so excited to reconnect again soon.